40% of jobs depend on communication skills, having great communication skills. Whether you want to run for public office, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a public servant, you want to lead an organization, you need communication skills. Hello, I'm Abby Adigwe, and I'm going to be talking to you today about communication for networking success. That is, we're moving our series on communication from the personal to the professional. How does your communication skills help you in the corporate world, in the professional world, in your career, in your business? How do communication skills work for you? So today we're going to be talking about how to use those skills and what to polish about your skills that would promote you. That will increase your likelihood of landing big contracts, of getting better jobs, of running successfully for office. It is well recognized that nonverbal skills matter as much and sometimes even more than verbal skills. Sure, you can take nonverbal skills to court and say, yes, it looked at me a certain way, but when we talk about the way you look, the way you act, all of those complement or detract from what you say. So I'm going to focus on your verbal skills today though. And I'm going to focus on both the formal setting, that is in a job interview, for instance, or interacting with partners, as well as an informal setting, schmoozing. You know, it is said that upward mobility in the workplace is not determined by how much you know or how well you do your job. Rather, it is determined by how well you network, how successful you are to connect with others. Not just the knowledge you bring to the job, but your ability to interact, your ability to communicate. So let's talk about your ability to communicate. Some tips. When you talk about verbal communication, that is what you say, use positive words. Positive, short, and clear words to communicate your ideas and thoughts. Why do we say positive? If you're one of those that consistently gripe about how you don't like the job and the boss is biased and this person doesn't like you or that person did you wrong in 1912, you're not going to move very far in that workplace, because what you consistently give off is you don't like being here. Not only don't you like being here, you wish you were not. Guess what? In today's downsizing world, they'd help you out. They'd help you out in such a hurry. Your head will spin. Cut that out. Make your words positive, short, and concise. Communicate your ideas. Don't use insider jokes or mumbling that only you can understand. Use words that immediately tell your listener what you're saying. No ambiguity. And no double talk. Don't talk from both sides of your lips. Reduce verbal tics. Don't form the habit of constantly going, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Oh, you know. You're not chumps. It is still a professional environment. So create an attitude about you and create an environment about you where people know if you're doing business, she means business. Now she means business in that hard line way and, oh, we could only focus on what we're supposed to do today. But she means business in that she is someone that's very knowledgeable and will share that knowledge. The first thing about communication is confidence. The confidence to open your mouth without fearing that blah, 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 will blurt out. The confidence to open your mouth knowing that you make sense. You have some knowledge. You have something to share. And everyone has something to share. The funny thing about blah, 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 blah is that when a baby talks, yes, you might not be able to say, oh, she wants to go to the party, but you could read what the baby wants. And so even at blah, 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 the baby is communicating. But at your level of adulthood, we expect a lot more. We don't expect to decode you in the same manner we decode a baby. We want to hear exactly what you're saying. So you should be able to communicate your ideas in short, concise, clear sentences. Let them know, let them remember. Why? Because when it's time for a promotion, when it's time for a raise, when it's time for a bonus, they remember who said what, because you said it clearly. Secondly, when you talk about communication and networking, do not limit yourself to only those you work with. Interact with others in your organization. Talk to people. Make them feel at ease. Talk to them, and you know, there's some topics that everyone knows is just a great water cooler topic. You can always talk about the crazy weather, or you talk about the economy, or you talk about something inane, somebody's golf game, or tennis, or the latest whatever sports is in season, basketball, football. Be something other than that cubicle work person. Be somebody interesting. Know something others want to know. So for instance, yes, you're not a huge football fan or baseball fan or any fan, but know who won, because guess what? You get to work and that's the topic of the day. That's the topic of the day. If you're not a fan, you didn't watch it, didn't watch the news either, you're left out of the conversation. But if you just watch the news, saw the highlights of the game because, hey, that's not really your interest, when you get to work and people are hanging out at the water cooler and talking about, oh, did you see that touchdown? You could say, wow, it was marvelous. I mean, sheer genius. Just the fact that you said sheer genius, you've contributed to the conversation. Yeah, you might not know the technicalities of it, but you're part of it. You're in. You want to always be in the in crowd. Networking is about being in, not trying to struggle your way into a conversation or just sitting at your desk working. It's not going to get you anywhere. You have to be able to socialize. Also, when you greet people, look them in the eye and offer a firm handshake. This past weekend, I went to a meeting, an organizational meeting, a conference actually, and I was shocked at the number of limp handshakes I got. And I thought, why would folks in this type of organization, because it's one of those motivational organizations that rah, let's go, still offer a limp handshake? Nobody's saying to break anyone's fingers, but at least offer a firm handshake. You're alive, your arms work, your hand works, working. Another cue for good networking is to focus, to listen to the person you're talking to. Yes, we call it networking, but it's not with everybody. It's a one-on-one communication. It is still back to interpersonal communication. When you're listening to someone and you want to hear what they have to say, what are your actions? Do you like everywhere but them, looking everywhere but them? Or do you lean in and focus? Do you look the person eyeball to eyeball to say, let me catch this? The fact that you spend that fraction of time looking the person in the eyeball will not only let the message sink in, it will also communicate to that person that they connected with you. That is very crucial in networking, because you want to remember names and you want to be able to associate that name. The best way to remember a name is to associate it with an action, a word, a verbal cue. For instance, oh yeah, Bob, we talked about Colorado. That's because when Bob was talking to you, you listened. You were not eavesdropping on some other person's conversation. So when you walk into an environment where you can meet people, go about meeting them one-on-one. Another thing about networking is have a card. People may forget your name, but if you give them a card, it would always be there for them to remember, to jog their memory. And let your card be as representative of you as you are. Not a lot of words, but one or two sentences that talks about what it is you do and who you are. And if you're representing a firm, you know those business cards, they immediately imprint the name of the firm. You want to be memorable when you network. Not memorable in a garish, outlandish way that nobody wants to associate with you, but to communicate meaningfully in a manner that whoever you communicate with will want to repeat the effort, will want to repeat the event. Because networking is not a one-off. It's not a one-off conversation. It's a constant conversation that you build on, so that you have relationships that work for you in the professional world and therefore push you to those higher positions in the organization, or in business, or in sales. Gets you success. So work on it. Polish up your communication skills if they need polishing, or use them if they don't need polishing. Actually, we could all use some polish. And so for more, visit my website, www.abiadegwe.com. Thank you.